So I'll give you a case in point, and some of you all might be triggered by this, but again, we go over to drop in a high level conversation. And the sister I was talking to, she explains how mental health is toxic, or the mental health paradigm is toxic. Because everybody talking about, don't trigger me, you gaslighting. I don't care. That's your job to deal with those things, not mine. So when I say this, I'm saying it fully knowing that some of you all might be triggered. But I want you to abstract what you can from this and to think and not be emotionally involved. Don't be a robot. So here's the thing. Black women are not the most educated group in America. Black women are not the most educated group in America. How did you, when you heard that statement the first time, I'm sure that a lot of black women felt empowered and they felt a sense of pride by hearing that. But what it should have done, right, because you took it, you ran with it because it confirmed the bias that you want to believe that is true. And when I first heard it, I said, okay, that's cool, that's nice, that's nice. I wasn't tripping off of it. I questioned it for a second. I said, that's interesting. That's fast. That was fast. That's what I first thought. That's fast for a group who is just now getting, right, the higher enrollment rates and things of that nature. How did it grow so fast? How did black women become the fastest, most educated group in America? And then when I investigated, I realized it's not even true at all as far as a statement. It's factually incorrect. So where did that come from? So this is thinking. Thinking investigates, right? And the word investigate starts with invest, right? So you have to invest time. And in that investment in time, you get something out of it. You start to go to the root. You start to understand things. So when you investigate, you say, wait a minute, the reality, that statement comes from black women are I'm going to tell you why it matters, JMX. The truth always matters. The truth, this is what you got to always understand. The truth always matters. And it's going to land a point. You go get it. The reason why it matters, because the statement comes from the fact that it was inside of black America, black women are the most educated. They're not the most educated in America. So I said, so what you're saying is that black women are more, they're having higher degrees of enrollment, number one, and degrees in specific areas. So you're saying black women are more educated than black men. Specifically, black girls are becoming more educated than black boys, because we're talking about young people when we're talking about enrollment and degrees, right? So then I had to think about that, like, damn, imagine that as a statement. If we are in school and we're saying, and we're celebrating the fact that there are more black girls being educated than young black boys at higher degrees. And we then take that statement and we plaster it everywhere as good propaganda. Well, then that would make you question, why isn't the young black boys catching up? That then should be a call to action to say, okay, well, there's something not right happening with our young black boys. Why aren't they being more educated? What's happening? What's the failure? What's the issue? That would naturally happen as a concerned parent, right? If you have a child and we say that, hey, your girl is being more educated than your son. So then do you then take all your energy and you focus it all the way on your girl, or then do you take equal energy and you say, okay, let me get my boy more educated because he's falling behind, right? And then from a societal standpoint, from a collective view, you would look at it and say, if young girls are being more educated than boys, then who is going to be the spouse of these young girls when they grow into grown women? Who's going to lead them? Who's going to protect them? Who's going to provide for them? Who is going to be their equally yoked partner in life? So what we've done is we've had so much emphasis, right, on girls because of course, a women's movement, right? Women have historically been oppressed and been left out of the conversation, right? And then you ask yourself this, okay, well, let's kind of investigate that a little deeper. what emotions does that cause within our community as a black family? Competition. Competition. All right, so, well, what's the problem with competition? Well, if, and what it does is it raises the significance up. So when you have people that are competing with each other, right, then they're not trying to cooperate with each other, a cooperation, right? So the most important thing becomes like competition or significance, right? And it feeds the ego, but it doesn't feed the family. So instead, the most important thing would be growth. So if you say, okay, if growth is the most important thing for the black collective, then you want to see the boy and the girl become educated, right, to higher degrees. Then when you investigate further, I say, okay, well, who is the most educated in black America? I mean, in America. It will be between, number one, like the East Indians, they have a higher degrees of like master degrees and degrees in like engineering and technology fields, where black women typically go and get like sociology degrees and right, the therapy, you know what I mean, psychologists, things of that nature, nursing degrees, stuff like that, right? So these are fields that are more of individual importance, right? Not nation building fields per se. The East Indian women is going into fields that are the most in-demand jobs, so it increases the wealth of the Indian community because we're going into a more technology-centered, right, society. So now they're getting the engineering jobs that's starting about $200,000-$300,000, right? And automatically that is a wealth transfer for that group that sticks together as a family, because the East Indian man is also getting highly educated as well. So nobody is saying, man, the East Indian woman is the most educated woman in America, because they're not making it a competition between the family. She's getting educated so that it assists the family in the paradigm of growth, right? It's for contribution. So there's an order of values that happen when you arrange your order of values. It allows a collective to be able to grow. Right? And so what you end up saying is that, okay, if our community focus on growth and contribution and community and then significance at the bottom, right? Well, right now we got significance at the top, and significance makes you want to compete with each other instead of figuring out how to contribute to the collective community for overall growth. Then we move backwards as a culture, because the best partner that we have in the world is our woman. You understand me? So if we're looking at the numbers, we're going to look at essentially white women are the most educated in America, then it's Indians, then it's black people, then it's Hispanics, right? Or black women, black men, Hispanic groups. That would be the actual order. Now, if we were taught that, and this is why truth matters, because then we would compete with other groups outside of our own to move up that ladder. So we would then say, okay, well, damn, they keep telling us that the Indians are the most educated. Well, that's our competition. If you in a race, do you compete with the person in fourth place, or do you compete with the person in first place? So if this is a race and we saying that, hey, Indians and white women in first place, Indians in second place, you know what I mean, y'all black women in third place, black men in fourth place, we want to compete for third and fourth? No, we want to be winners. We compete with whoever's in first. Now, as a cultural competition, right, we're saying let's move our numbers up to compete with those who are at the top. Now we say, okay, well, how do we do that? Well, we have to cooperate with each other, depend on each other, build with each other, so that we can become number one. Right? So this is why truth matters, because it changes the structure of how you go about doing things. So it's not black women waving their degrees in the face of black men, because no other community actually believes that. Right? The other communities never believed it, and it actually has no effect on other communities. right? Because they're not being challenged, or they don't worry about the challenge of black women in that sense. White men know that they're never going to be led by black women, so they're not worried about black women in that way. They know they would never let their white women rule them and lead them. They would never do that. They would never give up such power, right? Vic, when he ran for president, he proved that, man, they love your intelligence, but they told him to his face, I would not vote for you because you're Indian. Because they look at it wholly as a competition against other people that is in the race with them. So if you say that you are a part of a race, then you are acknowledging that it is a competition. Thinking is amazing because it gets you to completely different points of life. You know what I mean? You get to a completely different point of life. So yes, we celebrate our women growing, but also what you realize is that and I want y'all to really think about this and don't tear my head off this. So imagine this. White women, let's say white women are being celebrated for being the most educated group, right? So let's say that this is the thing that's happening in their community. But let's say all of the top white women that they celebrate as the most educated, that's growing in corporate ladder, political positions of power. What if all those white women had black husbands? What if all the white women, the Hillary Clintons, the Nancy Pelosi's, you know what I'm saying? Like whoever else they got in position, I don't know all the damn names. What if they all had black husbands? Do you think that they would be celebrated, respected, or do you think like white men would even think that they have their best interest or alignment at heart? Just think about it for a second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Not only just black husbands, what if they had black women as their partners? Or they was just like lesbian or something? Let's just think about this as a thought experiment for a second. Would these same women be celebrated and put into position? So we say no. If white women that are in power currently, like the ones that are like in the political positions, the ones that are in corporate positions that run these big tech companies, right? All of these women, imagine if all of the top white women in the world rather had black husbands. Just imagine that, right? Hillary Clinton got a black husband. Now, let's do the reverse. Imagine if all the black women in the black culture that we celebrate all have white spouses. The ones that are fighting against white patriarchy, fighting against empire, fighting for so-called change and things of that nature. Imagine if they all have white husbands. But the thing about it is that that's our current reality. The Ilhams, you know what I'm saying? The Katajis, you feel me, of the world. All of these black women, they all have 90% of them have white husbands. Now, I want you to think about how that makes a black man feel, right? And why there's so much divisiveness within the culture, because as a woman, you can celebrate her as a woman, right? As a black man, maybe you can celebrate her as a black person, right? But do you think that your values are aligned with that person, that she has the best interest at heart for you if she didn't choose you? And the political interest of couples are typically aligned, right? If I were to imagine that they would choose partners that are leaders, that they believe are there, if you think they're choosing partners that are equally yoked, right? Then you would imagine that they're choosing partners that also intellectually guide them as well. So, you know, the Kamalas and things of that nature, and And do you realize why there's so much disconnect between the celebration of these women and their positions and the division that happens within a community? But the black man is told to celebrate everybody's wins while losing himself. It's an interesting dichotomy. It's an interesting dichotomy. Because they don't go home to black men, they go home to white men. But in the public, they're fighting against white patriarchy. It's interesting. It's almost as if like black men were fighting against white feminism, but then all have white women. It would be an interesting idea to do. It would be an interesting idea. Start experiments. Matter of fact, let's do this. If Kamala had a black husband, do you think black men would have wanted to vote for her more? But if she had a black husband, do you think they would have allowed her to be vice president? So the question becomes is it that you want to tear down patriarchy, or do you want proximity to it? Do you want to tear down the empire? Do you just want proximity to empire? Do you want position in it? It's an interesting dichotomy that exists. So then you ask, okay, well, whose agenda are you aligned with? Because clearly a lot of times they make decisions that you can tell a black man is not guiding them. And then when you get these brothers that don't have black women, then you realize they make different kind of moves as well. It's hard to fight for the black family when you don't believe in it and don't have one and not making one your own. You know, these things matter. Environment matters. You know, if you got a black woman in your life, you automatically are thinking about making decisions that benefit the black woman in your life, the daughter that you have. You have a black husband, you automatically think about it, and you have a direct line from black consciousness, from that male's perspective, to help guide you or to give you empathy to understand about what's happening in the world. It's interesting, right? So, yes, there's that. So again, this is thinking 101, right? This is how we think. Thinking, it doesn't mean that you have to be right. It gives you to think. I don't have to be perfect in my thinking to challenge societal norms, ideas, and issues, right? And so what they're trying to keep you away from doing is thinking. That's it. Some people don't like when you ask questions because it challenges the propaganda that's being pushed. But if I am to just agree with propaganda, how do I know whose propaganda I'm agreeing with? What if AI just decided to come up with a narrative? Should I then repeat that, live by that, have pride in that? Or should I operate off my human intelligence system and question it and filter that through my wisdom? Somebody say, I can't lie, I love black women, point blank, period. Yeah, I do too. I want to understand what context you're saying that in, as if you're saying that regardless if they're with us, aligned with us, agrees. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and I don't celebrate all women. I don't. I celebrate the women that are aligned, right, with my values and my beliefs, and that's it. The rest of them, I don't particularly have a care about their existence. And I think that this is a stark time to pick your tribe and choose your side. Because if we walk around with this kumbaya mindset, we feel like we are morally superior, right? Virtue signaling and things of that nature to the world. But why would I want to be aligned with my enemy? So no, I'm not about to just write a blank check of celebration to all. If we have a National Men's Day, I'm not just celebrating all men. I'm not celebrating my enemy. And so we have to be careful with that idea, right? I seen the Dolce clip, and we're gonna talk about that on Man to Man, where she said her biggest red flag was heterosexual men. And it's disheartening to hear our black sister say that, because in her music she said that the one that she was most manipulated and experienced trauma from was a gay black man. So I'm like, damn, when did heterosexual black man become the problem if it was a down low brother that you had an issue with? I don't know. Somehow we become and it'd be so beautiful black talented sisters. You got the sister E Vivo, the bald head sister without the eyebrows, and she acts like she hates black Americans. Yeah, she's played Harriet Tubman, and she about to play Jesus, the black man. I'm like, Jesus, goddamn. Queen said, no, he was DL. That's what DL means. It means that he's gay. I don't know what you think that means or not. That's what that means.
I'm about to say it out loud.
Yeah, like,
it's a secret.
That's what it means, though.
It's
so that means he was a part of the LGBT community. Like, what we talking about? You know, regardless. That's what it means. I'm not sure what else it means. I don't know if they came up with a new definition. That's what it means. So, but she knows that she don't want to offend gay people. That's a large audience for her. So she not gonna say, you know, red flag is bisexual men or gay black men, because that would offend them, and then she get canceled. But you know, so I just be thinking, man. You know, when you think, you arrive at different locations in life.
That's what you want.
So anyway, comment book. If it don't send you a direct link, get this book. There's a chapter in it. I wrote this almost 10 years ago. It's very short. I'm writing a bunch of new books, but you should get this one before you move on to the next one. And there's a chapter in it about education and abstract thinking, and I want you to absorb this and have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was cosplaying as a straight man, and that's a problem. Don't cosplay as a straight man if you're not. You understand me? So that's something y'all got to deal with over there. But anyway, Paradigm Key, Solution-Based Mind Reprogramming. Comment book, you know what I'm saying? And get a link to this. Read this book. Peace to the family. Peace to the gods. I appreciate you.